Welcome my friends to the story of two of the most unlikely heroes, a tale exploring the sun-scorched deserts, of rising from captivity, getting revenge, and taking a look into the wild and wonderful land of Kenshi, a series featuring all manner of crazy and diabolical characters and revelations.
I will kill you.
What?
Don't worry about it.
Including some you may recognize, and the story of a pair that look to take on the world, despite the overwhelming odds stacked against both Arthur and Skibidi, to make a name for themselves over and above being known simply as two idiots. Welcome my friends to Kenshi T.I. Joining our heroes, we find them locked up in the clutches of the Holy Nation, with both Arthur and Skibidi having to dart straight to a nearby cage to subdue the guards, with poor Skib not quite making it and getting beaten to the ground before being placed in his bindings, Skibidi vowing to get his revenge on a particular jeering guard that may or may not have called him a nightmare fuel hatstand. As we are taunted by our captors, the Holy Legion spouting their religious rhetoric and shaving Arthur's head, we get a look at our surroundings, and I'll level with you. Early on for me with Kenshi, I was skeptical on whether this game was truly something special, or just triggering a lot of older RPG nostalgia for players, with its click-to-move system, absence of NPC voice dialogue, and rough around the edges visuals. But if there's something great truly held within, I thought, we'll find it. Starting first by finding a way out of this terrible fate in the prisons of Rebirth. With Skibidi finally coming to, we set about fiddling around with the cage's locks to improve our knowledge of lockpicking. Hours and hours dragged by, and although such knowledge was good, it was also vital, as both Arthur and Skibidi were starving to death. A situation that they would have no choice but to address that very night, with the pair embarking on the highly dangerous task of sneaking around the mines for some morsels of food. Finding only a single piece for Skibidi, they shuffled back empty-handed and returned to their cages once more to formulate their next move. As the sun began to rise, the lockpicking practice resumed as the two got more and more skilled, but not without a mistake or two, such as Arthur, filled with pride following a successful pick, wandering out of his cage and instantly being pounced on by the guards and whisked away to another cell, splitting him up from his bug-eyed buddy.
Yes, laugh while you can.
After getting accustomed with Arthur's new cage, we are sent out to work in the mines, getting a further look at the game's skill development. Each character in Kenshi has a wide range of skills to progress and work towards, beginning of course from nothing, making the early game a truly savage environment, skillless and hardly able to defend yourself against the aggressors of the land, which there are many. But we would not need a mastery of the sword for what would come next. As while Arthur worked away in the baking sun, Skibidi was plotting his revenge on a certain guard he had suffered from the day before. Waiting till the dead of night, he snuck out once again from his cage, all the way to one of the guard's quarters. In a keen sleight of hand, he unlocked his bindings, crept up to the sleeping fool, and carefully removed his armor, instead replacing them with Skibidi's own slave shackles. It was a long shot, he thought, but upon completion he snuck back to his cage and eagerly waited until morning, where the violent, now former guard got quite the wake-up call.
With hard work, blood and sweat, you can still redeem yourself!
Oh, hello. Fancy seeing you here.
But revenge was not freedom, so after more working away in the mines and some extracurricular activities, the time was now or never, as Arthur in particular could not go on much longer without food. In the dead of night once more, the pair set out with their new, much improved lockpicking skills and began setting loose all of the other captives, one by one, with even some being too paralyzed with fear to move. A small gang of potential escapees followed our two heroes, heading to the back entrance, and with the sun soon to rise, there was no turning back, and the entire group barreled past the guards in a bid for freedom, hoping that surely they cannot stop them all. The sounds of their fellow inmates being cut down ringing in their ears, and after what felt like an eternity, they were clear of the horrors of Rebirth, to quite ironically, begin their own. Following the road down, the pair came across an abandoned shack, still within throwing distance of their prison. They adopted caution exploring within, and opted to send only Skibidi, as Arthur began to unfortunately pass out with exhaustion and couldn't risk him face-planting mid-heist.
Oh fuck.
Opening up the front door, Skibidi uncovered a treasure trove of food and supplies to get them on their feet. All rather convenient, Skibidi thought, until they found a note left on the upper floor, left by what was surely another ex-inhabitant of the Holy Nation's prison. And it was while staring at this note and contemplating the madness of the escape that I imagine could have gone a number of ways that I began to catch a glimpse of what makes Kenshi stand out, and vowed to uncover more. Freedom was finally theirs, and the task now turned to venturing out and establishing themselves in this cutthroat environment. It would be especially hard, as at least for now they will still be recognized by some as escaped slaves. Kenshi uses a character state system to report how each member of a team is presenting to the inhabitants of the world. Putting on a set of armor plucked straight from our trash can helmet-toting former captors, for example, would lead to less informed other citizens assuming they were indeed from that clan. And for now our state revealed that we would still be identified as escapees if running into the wrong person, so would need to be careful, as trouble hid around every corner of the desert. The decision was made to hightail it out of the land claimed by this oppressive Holy Nation, and seek sanctuary further south, in the more tolerant colonies. It was a long trip down, and after hitting back a bit, the nation breaking into a nearby farm and robbing them blind, we got a further look at some of Kenshi's more immersive features, with Arthur and Skibidi having conversations around nearby landmarks, fears of being re-imprisoned when passing another Holy Nation settlement, and Arthur pissing off his buddy with his remarks about the Hivers when nearing one of Skibidi's former stomping grounds.
Hey, the Hivers may be harmless enough, but don't let that fool you. Those guys are plain sneaky.
Ouch. That hurts, you know.
Oh, don't overreact. You know I don't mean you. No, Hive.
After another tiring trek across the desert, the pair finally arrived at their new home for the time being, Squin, a town ran by the Shek race, and although not exactly the most friendly of bunch to outsiders, at least gives us a chance to develop our skills and maybe even a place to live. Buying a backpack, the two put their time in the mines to good use, by turning their mining skills into a moneymaker for some startup capital. And it was while working away an imposing figure wandered by, putting the trash can helmet-toting Holy Nation to shame. This was a laundry basket-toting shinobi assassin, striding through the land alone, and with stats like that, one can see why. Which made Skibidi think, if they could make it to where they resided, maybe they could join these mysterious shinobi and become just as powerful. The rare shinobi sighting was not all the surrounding area had to offer, it seems, as we of course had to make sure to keep an eye out for gangs of roaming bandits looking for easy targets, and dash back towards the safety of the hulking town guards to ensure victory and to get some combat experience, albeit brief, even when getting absolutely owned.
Oh, fuck.
With some funds finally lining our pockets after selling off some collected ore, we added to our party by picking up a pack bull from a gang of local animal traders. Picking up being the key phrase here, with Arthur taking it very literally indeed. The next addition to our party came after checking the local bar for someone to help Arthur with his unfortunate, very slave-like haircut, coming across a Shek mercenary looking to join us, which we just could not refuse, as something about her just spoke to us. The next step would be somewhere to call home while we set the stage to build our own settlement down the line. So turned our eyes to a broken down property in Squin, with the mind to fix it up ourselves, and with another member of the team sped things up nicely, with another hand on deck to gather materials to sell. However, the bandit threat remained to slow the team down now and again, causing some rather gruesome flaily injuries, including a bandit that I have to take my hat off to, even with 2 broken arms still flailing around in the background, surely just for moral support at this point. And Arthur with his shaved head and beard combo looking like a scuffed Andy Tate.
Oh, Andrew, stop it. Stop it, Andrew. Andrew.
Not before long we had purchased our first home and began the rebuild, and with it the construction of a research bench to unlock further technologies. Kenshi has a well fleshed out research and crafting system that begins at small scale internal fixtures such as training dummies to learn skills, or building chests and boxes for storage, and expands out to crafting entire player-constructed buildings and settlements, which as you can imagine takes a fair amount of materials and time to progress, which is where the game's ability to speed up time comes in handy, shown here with our newest member zooming across the land, living up to her namesake, travelling to another settlement for building materials, or Skibidi here honing his combat skills on a training dummy, getting a much-needed boost in time taken. Not before long we had a tier 2 research bench, leveled up strength carrying around a whole bunch of iron mined from nearby, and made some comfy beds to finally enjoy a good night's sleep. But Skibidi lay awake, still with something on his mind. Either that or he just sleeps like that, which would be cursed. He lay awake thinking of the shinobi, and the possibilities they could hold for them all.
We must track them down.
He thought,
They hold the key to growing stronger.
With the morning came Skibidi's pitch to the others, and the decision was made to trek across the desert once more to locate the mysterious shinobi clan. With the group gathering their things and wasting no time, this new adventure would of course come with it a whole range of new dangers, coming across a colourful new land and getting chased by a group of bandits deep within it, just to be awkwardly saved by Skibidi's former tribesmen, and on the way out getting introduced to one of the game's most formidable and hilariously named foes.
I mean, what is he doing? What even is that? Can't think of it. What is it? It's just some sort of...
Big thing!
Ah, bloody hell!
Taking another chance to snap back at the Holy Nation, ransacking another one of its properties, and after being chased, bitten, beaten and broken, ultimately arriving at the Great Desert, and with it soon after the settlement of Heft, the home of the Shinobi clan. With the other two exhausted from the journey, Arthur alone made his way to the clan's headquarters, and after paying for his acceptance into their ranks, made his way to their advanced training room, and began truly honing his skills, as he too had not forgotten that there was still a serious score to settle. Thank you so much for watching. Please drop the video a like if you enjoyed it, and make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next episode, which will be out very soon.